What's up, dudes? Max here, and over the past few days, we've gotten a lot of reveals from Street Fighter V in terms of characters and kind of what's going to be happening with the game in the future. However, the roster is still not yet entirely known officially, and I've actually remade this video. This is the third time now, because we got a lot of reveals over the past week, including Zangief as well as Laura. So they're official, so now the big question stands, who are the final two characters that were going to be revealed for Street Fighter V? Initially, the video was who was the final four characters that were going to be revealed, and two of them already came true, which was Laura and Zangief. And the biggest reason that these characters were rumored to be true for the longest time is that Laura and another character leaked with a list of information that came out about 3 months ago that had a huge amount of characters, including Rashid, Armika, as well as like Karen, and names of characters that you probably couldn't have come up with on the top of your head that ended up being true, especially for Rashid. That was kind of the big one. They was announcing where the characters came from, what they were coming back from, and Laura was also a part of this list, and the other character that was a new character that was a part of this list is another fighter named Zen. We still don't know too much about this mysterious Zen character, other than that he is the final new character that is going to be revealed for Street Fighter V amongst Necalli, Laura, and Rashid. Zen is going to be the fourth brand new Street Fighter. We're going to find out hopefully more pretty soon, but the other one, the big outstanding one, is who is the final returning character. Capcom was saying for the longest time that this game is going to have 8 returning characters from classic Street Fighter, as well as 4 characters you haven't really seen in a long time, which pretty much makes sense because that's like Armika, as well as Karen, as well as Nash and Birdie. They all kind of represent characters we haven't seen in a while, while the core Street Fighters remain to be Ryu, Chun-Li, Bison, Cammy, Ken, Zangief, and Vega. And there's still one more outstanding classic character, and a lot of the rumors and hopes of people are that it's going to be a third strike character, which doesn't actually make a lot of sense because even Capcom has said in the past that this is going to be a classic Street Fighter character, one that you would expect to see in the series. So this means that there's a very good chance it's not going to be Sagat. We're going to be missing a few more core character roster members like Blanca, E Honda, and kind of a few others, but at the same time, there was a lot of other rumors about the final Street Fighter character that's going to be involved with this roster, and I am pretty sure it might be Dhalsim. Now, it would be kind of weird because Dhalsim isn't exactly a hugely popular character amongst players. Sure, everyone knows who Dhalsim is. He's a huge fundamental part of Street Fighter. He's a world warrior, a classic character, and as a character, a lot of people know him. On the overall, I'd say playability charts, probably not so much, so that's kind of a surprise to me. The Dhalsim information actually leaked on the internet a little while ago, along with Zangief, where it was said that the final 2 core members of the Street Fighter V roster were going to be Zangief and Dhalsim. And guess what? Zangief actually came true earlier last week. So that kind of cements that the possibility that the final World Warrior or the final classic Street Fighter character is most likely going to be Dhalsim, rounding out the top 16 to be an additional of Laura, Dhalsim, and this new guy named Zen is the ongoing theory right now. This is all complete speculation, guys, but this is what I'm thinking it's going to be. The other thing that we had, and the bigger speculation there was before Zangief was announced, was that the final 2 characters that were initially maybe going to be Zangief or Dhalsim, but now that that's kind of been confirmed, I was thinking that was going to be Urien, and the other was going to be Alex from Street Fighter 3, and the Silicon Era article actually leaked Armika as well as Karen a bit earlier, and then they also came out that Alex and Urien were going to be a part of the roster as well. This was a small minor leak, not a lot of sources were given, just a source that they trust. So there's also an interesting thing that's happening here with Street Fighter V. We have a pretty decent idea of what all the speculators and theorists actually think the Street Fighter V roster is going to be right now. This pretty much comes from months of searching NeoGAF leaks and figuring out which leaks are right and which leaks aren't. We kind of have a pretty good idea of who the final 2 characters are going to be because Laura and Zangief are real. Now, this also leaves the final rumor of Urien and Alex. Where the hell are these characters? Because the top 16 is now full, and I think we might actually have a good idea. Coming up fairly soon at New York Comic-Con, there is going to be panels for Street Fighter V and a potential character reveal. Now, it doesn't make a lot of sense that there would be a reveal for maybe the new Zen character or perhaps the returning classic character like Dhalsim. It doesn't feel right to be in New York to specifically announce that because Ono has been specifically likely going to a ton of different countries, announcing characters left and right within the countries of origin. And Ken's already been announced. He's like the mainstay, like American character of the game. Now there's another American character amongst those two rumored ones, and it's absolutely Alex. There's a small chance that Alex and potentially Urian still could be a part of the core roster of Street Fighter V, but they're not part of the beginning 16, and there's a reason this makes sense and why it doesn't make sense at the same time. Street Fighter V is going to have DLC characters. Now, I'm hoping that sometime at New York Comic Con later this week, Capcom has a panel and announces how its DLC character schedule or something along those lines is going to work. They're going to explain what's going on, because it's been told to us several times before that the DLC structure in this game is that you can actually purchase characters with in-game currency, and you do not have to buy characters at all. They will just be added to the game, and you don't have to pay a penny of actual real dollars for them. You can only earn them through in-game currency. So with that in mind, that actually leads me to think that Street Fighter V might launch with the 16 characters that we think it's going to be, and Urian and Alex might be two characters that you have to purchase through in-game currency. So they could be the first two launch DLC characters, and even Capcom in the past, at some interviews at some point, were mentioning that the game is most likely going to have downloadable characters available at the start of its release. So that gives a really big hope that the final rumor, the final two core roster members that a lot of people have been kind of screaming for, which is Urian and Alex, and that's Legacy Street Fighter 3 series characters. I think a lot of people would be very happy. I'd flip my freaking lid over Alex, and I'd be really happy with Urian. Could be potentially the add-on DLC characters that they add when the game launches. They're not on the disc, but when the game gets updated on day one, Alex and Urian will be downloaded, and you can maybe, hopefully, and potentially add them as DLC. The sad part about this, guys, none of this is confirmed. This is all completely speculation on my end based on what's happened with all the information and leaks over the past near 4.5 months. So there you go, guys. That's my predictions for the final roster of Street Fighter V at launch, and hopefully soon after, we can potentially see a little bit of Alex, a little bit of Urian, and maybe some of those other mainstay and classic characters that we've been kind of requesting. I know a lot of you guys want Akuma, and I would love to see what Akuma looks like in this game. I'm desperately looking forward to a bunch of those old-timers returning as well. As always, dudes, thank you very much for watching, and I'll be back as soon as we get confirmation of this, and I'll put up a video of all the raw details for what's happening with Street Fighter V. Take care, dudes. Thank you a ton for watching, and I'll see you next time.